I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got love like a mountain, I've got love like a mountain, I've got love like a mountain in my soul. I've got love like a mountain, I've got love like a mountain, I've got love like a mountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain in my soul, in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul, in my soul. I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river in my soul.
All right, welcome to Unity. If you're not standing, please stand and join us in our next one, All That I Need.
All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me. I've been set free, I'm released. I've been set free, I'm released. The burden of my past has gone away at last. I've been set free, I'm released. Sweet rain that washes me clean. Sweet rain that washes me clean. The mind creates life it brings, sweet rain that washes me clean. All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me.
Thank you, guys. Good job.
Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Keith, for opening our service. Appreciate it. Good morning. As many of you may know, and maybe some of you here may not, my name is Ron, and I'm a licensed Unity teacher here at Unity of Walnut Creek, and it's my pleasure to welcome you here and bless you for coming. But it's more my privilege that I get to see every beautiful expression of God that is sitting here. So I'm more blessed than you are. So please help me welcome our brothers and sisters online. So please turn towards our online camera. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Please know that you already are an important part of our spiritual community here. So blessings to you being with us. And if you would please check your cell phones and whatever communication devices you have and make sure that they're off. Even though I have some cool ringtones, the musicians really want to play well for you. So anyways, speaking of musicians, we have some wonderful musicians today, and they're all part of our family. So we have the boys in the corner, Dave and Max and Larry. And we have a couple soloists today. We have Mitch Monroe who's going to grace us with his voice. And Dave Paulson, who's got a great harmonica, a couple gigs for you. So Unity is a positive path for spiritual living. And here at Unity of Walnut Creek, it is our mission to walk that path in loving community. And we also empower spiritual growth by modeling and teaching universal spiritual principles. Yes? Yes. Great. So we're going to say our affirmation that claims that one divine source within us and all around us. So we're going to take a deep breath, and as we exhale, we're going to say thank you, and then we'll move into our affirmation. Okay? So just take a deep breath and settle in. And as you exhale, say thank you. Now let's say our affirmation. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Yeah, just know that to be true. And if you're new to Unity, if this is your first time, welcome. Thank you so much for being here and gracing us with the divine soulness that you are. And if you feel comfortable enough, if you want to raise your hand, we have a welcome packet for you that also includes a wooden necklace made by one of our family members. So do we have any newcomers who wish to get a packet? Oh, great. All right. Thank you. Okay, and if you are new to Unity this morning, if you don't feel comfortable raising your hands, please pick up a welcome packet at a welcome table just across the courtyard over there. Okay, so thank you very much for being with us. And for all of us who are here for the second or 202nd time, There are connection cards in the seats in front of you. Those are for any prayer requests that you have, whether they're celebrations or something on your heart that you would like us to pray for. And our prayer chaplains will be praying with these cards and over these cards throughout the week. And you can also give feedback. So if you really like the service, or if you really don't like the service, let us know. Please, we would love your feedback. And
More specific than that. More specific than that.
oh, more specific. Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is our favorite time. It's our time to greet our neighbors, and so if you want to hug someone, please do. If you don't want to hug somebody, be careful, okay? So.
Hello, my name is Mike, and I want to tell you about some of the exciting opportunities we have here in our community. And you're invited to experience an emotionally healing practice that will open your heart and access your aliveness and well-being. The Tools to Awaken Your Joy class, facilitated by Tracy Appleton, will meet on every second Wednesday of each month. This month it's July 12th. Circulation Day is Saturday, July 22nd. Observe universal law in action by donating the quality items in your life that are good and no longer serving you. Release them by recirculating them to the larger community. Bring your donation items to the Unity parking lot on the Friday before. And we're really pleased, excited to have a concert with Charlie Toit, who's been here a number of times. And he's here on Sunday, July 30th at 2 o'clock for a concert. He'll be here at the service also. He's got powerful music, humor, a great presence and ease he brings to every gathering. And we're going to have a potluck lunch to share between the last service and 2 o'clock. And now I'd like to invite Reverend Kristen to the platform.
I asked him for that, so it'd wake us up. Thank you, Larry. So, do you know what the drum roll's for? Do you know what this week is? Classes! I love that everybody knows that. You know, it does say a lot about our community. This is really a community of learning. And so the classes are a really rich part of that expand and deepen your experience from coming together as a community on Sunday morning. So I hope you'll consider the classes we have starting this week. It's a new 6-week cycle. Tomorrow it starts with Trey Boxer on Mondays for the next 6 weeks, and Trey's class is about touch for healing and acupressure. But she tells me it's not, of course, just about health and wholeness. It's about the whole being. And Trey does some interesting things to test your energy level, and she teaches you some really practical tips to use in your daily life around health, wholeness, and all of your being, your well-being in general. On Tuesday nights, Pam Asen is doing Cut Through for a Heart Math program. And that will go for the 6 weeks. And then also on Thursday evening, I'm going to be teaching the 4 pillars of prosperity, which, by the way, we're also starting a series this Sunday on the 4 pillars of prosperity. So we're starting out with faith today and vision, and we'll be moving through each of those on the Sunday services. The class gives you an opportunity to really practice. And it also calls forth a commitment, because this class is an advanced prosperity class that calls us into committing in many different ways. And so it does require pre-registration. So I hope you'll consider deepening your experience of prosperity and really taking these 6 weeks to say, I'm going to fully jump in and commit and test the waters and see what will become of this kind of focus on my prosperity and prosperity for the world. And by prosperity, by the way, we mean in every aspect of life: financially, love, harmony, peace, all the things we desire. So if you're interested in the classes, there's a table with a green cloth out in the courtyard, and there'll be folks to greet you there. Zula will be talking about my class. I think Trey may be around, and I'm not sure, Pam's not in town, but if you have questions about HeartMath, you may be able to get those answered too. So thank you. Join us. Thank you.
So find out about these and other activities online and in today's bulletin.
Come on, Mitch.
You might slip, you might slide, stumble and fall by the roadside. Don't you ever let nobody drag your spirit down.
Don't let nobody drag your spirit down.
You know I'm marching up to heaven. Don't let nobody turn you around. You know I'll walk with the rich and talk with the poor. Learn from everyone, that's what life is for. Don't you ever let nobody drag your spirit down.
Don't let nobody drag your spirit down.
You know we're marching up to heaven. Don't let nobody turn you around. Might say things sound strange to you. I might talk of Jesus, maybe Muhammad too. Don't let nobody drag your spirit down. Talking about, you know that we're marching up to heaven. Don't let nobody drag you down. You know you might slip, you might slide, stumble and fall by the roadside. Don't you ever let nobody drag your spirit down. Talking about, you know that we're marching up to heaven. Don't let nobody drag you down. You know that we're marching up to heaven. Don't let nobody drag you down. Marching up to heaven. Don't let nobody drag you down. Oh yeah.
Karen Drucker said she lost the right to sing the blues when she got into New Thought. And Mitch, seems like you picked some songs that just infuse New Thought into blues. I love it. A match made in heaven. Bobby Bader's our prayer chaplain today, and she's going to start out our meditative time with this reading. So please enjoy this and some more music and our guided meditation.
On December 7th, 1892, co-founders of Unity, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, penned this dedication and covenant. We, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, husband and wife, hereby dedicate ourselves, our time, our money, all we have and all we expect to have, to the spirit of truth, and through it to the society of silent unity. It being understood and agreed that the said spirit of truth shall render unto us an equivalent for this dedication in peace of mind, health of body, wisdom, understanding, love, life, and an abundant supply of all things necessary to meet every want, without our making any of these the object of our existence. In the presence of the conscious mind of Christ Jesus, the 7th day of December AD 1892, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore. I give thanks for these founders whose faith, vision, and inner work allows me to be a part of this spiritual community 125 years later. I've inherited a prosperous mind and heart. My spirit, my understanding, and demonstration are supported by this Unity family. I turn within now and let the music move through me.
is mine to commit to co-create, will blossom into something as great as this movement called unity. Thank you, God, and so it is.
With a flour sack cape tied all around his neck, he climbed up on the garage thinking, what the heck? He screwed his courage up so tight it nearly came undone. He took a running start and bless his heart, he headed for the ground. He's one of those who knows that life is just a leap of faith. Spread your arms and hold your breath and always trust your cape. Now he's all grown up with a flour sack cape tied all around his dreams. He's still jumping off the garage and he always will. He licked his finger and checked the wind. It's gonna be do or die. He wasn't afraid of nothing, boys. He was pretty sure he could fly. He's one of those who knows that life is just a leap of faith. Spread your arms and hold your breath and always trust your cape. Life is just a leap of faith. Spread your arms and hold your breath and always trust your cape. Now he's old and gray with a flour sack cape tied all around his head. He's still jumping off the garage and he will until he's dead. All these years, all the people said he's acting like a kid. He did not know he could not fly, and so he did. He's one of those who knows that life is just a leap of faith. Spread your arms and hold your breath and always trust your cape. Spread your arms and hold your breath and always trust your cape.
Spread your arms and hold your breath and always trust your cape. That's going to be my mantra this week. Look out if you see me on the roof over here. You'll either join me or stop me or... Yeah. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Mitch. So what are you up to in your life that you might be spreading your arms and holding your breath and trusting your cape? Because we're all always up to something, right? Something that could use that bolster. of faith. There was a man named Jabez. His story is told in Chronicles. It's just a couple of lines, actually. And Jabez was named Jabez because it means one who causes pain. And his mother said it was so painful to give birth to him that that's what she named him. Yeah, not very nice. And he did not like this name because of the meaning of it. He said, I do not want to be someone who causes pain. And so he wrote this little prayer. O Lord, bless me indeed. Keep me from evil so that I may not cause pain. And enlarge my territory. If even we just took that last part and made it our own prayer. Enlarge my territory. Of course, we mean the I am of us, the essence of us, the divine of us, the highest part of us. Enlarge my territory. It makes us just automatically want to spread our arms and open our cape, doesn't it? Because there is a sense of that blessing that increases as we claim it. That's a part of expressing our faith. So as we begin this prosperity series today, it's a series where we're looking at the 4 pillars of prosperity, but today we're laying the foundation. And the foundation is faith. And the first pillar is vision. And so the two work together in a way. Not so much blind faith that we're talking about today, but actually faith that sees. And how can we allow our faith to see? Maybe a little bit like the tarot card I got yesterday when I came to the Bless Fest. Anybody come to Bless Fest yesterday? Wasn't that fun? What a great event. So I went to the tarot card reader, and she put out 5 cards, and she talked a lot about these 4 cards, and then there was this other one, and I was really intrigued by it because she didn't say anything about it. And it was really beautiful. Am I on? It seems like it's... Okay, very good. Sorry. Just thought I'd better check before I talk to you for 20 minutes and you didn't hear anything I said. So there's this one card, and I think it said Ariel, and it had, those cards are really beautiful, the flowy goddess, and it had 2 swords like this. And the swords were just over the eyes like this. And I said, well, what is that card? And she said, oh, that's how you see. So it's not seeing with the eyes, but it's this kind of seeing, the third eye seeing, the inner eye seeing. And I thought, well, how perfect is that as I'm working with this concept of a faith that sees? Because the seeing is the innate seeing. The seeing is with the mind's eye what it is that we truly see ourselves being and how we see our world, like Jabez saw himself. I am not, he rejected the idea, one who causes pain. So bless me, Lord, and enlarge my territory. So I'll finish his prayer, so that I may be all that I am born to be, so that I may become all that I am meant to be. We are constantly on this pathway that is a beingness and a becomingness, right? And the becomingness is not becoming something we aren't. It's actually just unfolding what we are in truth. So the two are playing off of each other at all times. And so when we employ this idea of a faith that sees, we automatically enlarge our vision, enlarge our scope of understanding, and enlarge our capacity to receive good. And ideally, to give it back, to be in that flow. That's a big part of the prosperity walk. So let's take a look at this idea of faith. Faith is one of the 12 powers you may have heard of, part of the teachings of unity, the early teachings of unity, and it actually has a history beyond that. Emma Curtis Hopkins was one of the people who was known as the teacher of teachers. She was a New Thought teacher, they say taught about 50,000 students in the late 1800s and early 1900s. Charles and Myrtle were really devoted students of hers, the founders of Unity, as were other people who went on to found other sects. That's a hard word. I always told myself, stay away from that word, stay away from that word. And there it popped right out. But I got your attention, didn't I? Other branches of New Thought. And so she wrote a book. She wrote a few books, but one of them that Emma Curtis Hopkins wrote was High Mysticism. And in the book High Mysticism, she talked about these 12 jewels. These 12 jewels that were these 12 kind of spiritual qualities, or powers, if you will, which is what Charles Fillmore later called them. Annie Ritz-Mills was, I think, one of the founders of Divine Science, and she was the one who aligned with the 12 powers, the 12 disciples. And then Charles came along, Charles Fillmore, and he aligned the 12 powers, this idea of the 12 powers, with 12 different centers in the body, similar to the idea of the chakra system. And so we want to activate these powers. We want to open these powers. We want to use these powers to their fullest. So faith is considered the first one. Peter was the first disciple called, so that's part of that. But also considering it really a primary power. And it works really well with some of the others. Many of them pair together really nicely. So faith, where Charles located it in the body, is down from the crown of the head into the middle of the head, essentially, at the place where if you went through between your eyes and into the middle of your head, and between your ears into the middle of your head, all those points would meet, where he located the power of faith in the body. So a really powerful spot, if you will. The crown chakra, this idea of energy that comes through, and the seeing and the hearing, the inner knowing and the inner seeing, all intersecting in this power of faith. So faith then is this deeper understanding, this inner knowing, this inner seeing that opens us to enlarge our territory. One of the ways that faith serves us, one of the ways that we use this power. So faith, you see, is a power in us. It's not something that we can lose or something that, you know, when we often use these terms, or it's really not even blind because it can see and it can hear and it can allow us to prosper on this path. So activating the power of faith is one of the key ways that we put ourselves on this journey of prosperity. And by prosperity, again, I mean prosperity in every way, in every aspect of being, including financially. So health and wealth in every way. Eric Butterworth said, faith is knowing there's an ocean because you've seen a brook. It's knowing that there's a universe because you've seen a single star. That's faith. Getting a glimmer, an idea, a sense, a calling, if you will, a little bit of an urging. Did you ever have that? It's sort of like, I'm being asked to do something. I'm not quite sure what it is. I see a lot of heads nodding. Yeah. And sometimes it's like, I don't want to know what it is, right? Yeah, I remember I was in ministerial school and somebody guided us into a meditation to say, when was one of the early, times when you were called into this path? And I immediately went to this scene, which I would have never guessed had anything to do with anything, but now I see what I didn't then. That 2020 vision is nice too, isn't it? And so I was in a storm, a good Midwestern storm, like lightning and thunder and like rain so heavy you can't drive. Well, not safely anyway. And I had just been in a class, audited a class at University of Illinois with a professor that had been working with me, consulting in the work I did with Chicago public school teachers. His name was Bob Stake. And he really wanted me, I think, to study with him and go down the path of getting a PhD with him and studying schools, qualitative research around schools. And I didn't know if that was really mine to do. So I just was in one of those places of I'm not sure what's mine to do, but sitting in this car with my former partner and in this storm, and I just started crying. It's like, what's wrong? I was like, well, I'm not really sure. I feel like there's something I'm supposed to be doing, like God's calling me into something, and I don't know what it is, but it's like there's this thing, it's deeper, it's something I'm supposed to do, and I don't know what it is, and yet I feel really moved that there's even something there. You know that feeling? I know that sounds like a whole crazy jumble of stuff, but that's kind of how I felt. You know, it was just in that whole crazy jumble of emotion, and something is emerging here. And so that was a part of the journey for me of spirituality, of service, of prosperity, and of faith. Because faith wanted its way with me in a new way, if you will. That power wanted to be activated and opened and used in a new kind of way. And so many of us, I think, can relate to these moments in our lives. Maybe it's happening for you now, that you feel like something's coming or something wants to open through you. It's almost like the bud of a flower that wants to open through you, the blossoming of consciousness, Eckhart Tolle talks about, the flowering of consciousness, I think he says. So there's a sense of something else. And so part of that walk in faith sometimes can be patience, right? Just sitting with it, allowing it to sort of emerge in its own time. Sometimes that walk of faith is calling us more to take more action and to be in that co-creative process. I think one of the powers that then we can pair with nicely when we're on this walk with prosperity and opening and expanding and enlarging our territory is to bring in then also the power of imagination or vision, which Charles Fillmore located in the third eye. And so you've got this faith in the middle of the head and this idea of faith that's seeing through those spiritual eyes, seeing the world in a whole different way. So even in the worst of scenarios that you can imagine, in a war-torn scene, in the middle of a disaster, you can imagine that if you are not seeing through these eyes, if you even close these eyes for a moment and you begin to feel and see with the spiritual eye, you see something different. You see compassion, you see connection, you see humanity at its best, helping one another out. You see the light and the beauty even in the midst of our pain and our misunderstandings and our conflicts. You've all been in those places, haven't you? Yeah, sometimes in the midst of the most horrific things is the most delicate beauty being born. And it's kind of like another piece of our faith opening that says, I know it's going to grow. I know it's going to be enlarged. I know it's going to prosper. And so as we praise that which we want to increase, it begins to open and to prosper. And our way is made easier and more clear as we walk the path, as it was for me. When I opened to these two powers working together, faith and vision, I had a dream. I had a dream one night that Dr. Bob Stake, the one I had taken the class with, had died. And I worked with him really closely, and I really liked Bob. So I was really worried when I woke up that something actually had happened to him. And I called him up, and I said, Bob, are you okay? And he said, oh yeah, everything's fine. So I put down the phone, and I just sat with it for a minute. And I thought, there it is. I was getting more and more involved in unity, and I could see now that a door was closing. I could have gone down that path and continued on that career, but the dream was telling me that path was now dead. And the other path that was alive for me was this nebulous thing called ministry. And so I opened my cape and began to walk. And each of us, I know, has these times in our lives where there's confusion and there's uncertainty and there's something emerging that wants to burst through us. And if we can just trust, that's a step toward faith, right? Trust that something is coming. Open our eyes with the inner eye, with a vision, with a sense of knowing in our hearts that is also a sense of faith. Where your heart is, there will your treasure be also, pointing us to our prosperity, our goodness in every way. And so trusting what is in our hearts, trusting our dreams, our visions, what's brought to us, the messages that come, and allowing that then to unfold in a way where we know that if we take that leap, that there'll be solid ground beneath us, or that we'll fly. Whatever it is that we're imagining is going to happen, that is going to happen because we are in that co-creative process. So prosperity is really up to us how big we want our territory to be. Do we want to just take the namesake we've been given and fine, I was named that I could cause pain, so I guess that's just what I'll be in the world? Or do we want to say, oh no, I'm asking for a blessing. It's something else. It's got to be bigger than this. I'm enlarging my territory. And allow then the joy of whatever it is that will bubble up on the path because of that willingness to partner with God and to walk out in faith. Eric Butterworth says that most of us hold up a tin cup to the Niagara Falls of God's plenty. He says that's marginal living at best. Some of us bring a little thimble, you know. And we do it in that sort of kind and sweet way. Oh, well, I just want to take a little bit because I want to make sure there's some for everyone. There's nothing sweet about that. Well, maybe sweet, but it's not true, you know, because it's founded in an idea that there's not enough. And there's plenty, right? There is an abundant source of good that is ever present, eternal, like a spring inside of us that just keeps on flowing. And it's always available to us. There's always enough. We just need to look with different eyes if we're seeing through the eyes of limitation. Bring a great big vessel to that Niagara Falls of God's plenty, as big as you can imagine, and still there will be plenty for all. Because as we look at things in this increasing way, in this abundant way, it then multiplies. That's the way it works. That's the essence of the prosperity principle. So, one of the things that we often do is we look at others who we think have done great things in the world. These things I will do, and greater things will you do, Jesus said. We look at Buddha, or we look at Gandhi, or we look at contemporaries and gurus and babas and saints and, you know, all kinds of folks that we can look at historically and contemporary teachers and say, they've done really great things. But, you know, probably not me. Anybody go there? Yeah. But greater things will you do, is the promise from someone who performs miracles. Greater things than these will you do. And so what is the difference between these we point to and say they are doing great things is not that they have more of God centered in them, but that they center themselves more in God. That's the difference. And so the more that we center ourselves in God, the more we activate these powers, the more we walk the path of truth and prosperity. It's really, truly that simple. Now, we can talk a lot and we can teach a lot and we can, you know, try a lot of things, but it does really come down to that essence. The more we center ourselves in God, the greater our prosperity will be in every way. Because it's centering ourselves at the source. A friend and I went to India in 2007, and we were doing that pilgrimage that Hindus do to the source of the Ganges. It was really magical in some ways, and really bizarre in others. And I won't tell you about the bizarre parts because it'll take too long. But so it was a hike, and we were guided by these young men. And so we were coming across this swinging bridge over these rapids. And my friend, that just really scared her. It was just an equilibrium thing or a balance thing, but she was really scared to cross that bridge. And literally, she took like these tiny little baby steps going across the bridge. And it was so fun to watch how on this pilgrimage, she went from that place of fear to the edge of the source. And there she had a vision of this goddess-like figure, Ganga, straddling the river at the glacial source. And we got to watch, for the people who were on a Hindu pilgrimage, how meaningful that was for them to bathe in those ice-cold waters. And something about that sense of, that literal sense of going to the source is really helpful because we're constantly on this figurative path of going to the source, right? And centering ourselves in that place from which the fountain burst forth into our lives to do the good that is to be done by us, whatever it may be. So Bobby shared with you the commitment, the covenant that our founders made. And you heard how they made a deal, basically, with Spirit, right? This is what we're going to do. We're going to dedicate our lives, our time, our talents, our service, everything we have to give in every way. And Spirit, we trust you. We walk out in faith that you'll take care of us. That's what we come from. That's our founding ideals and ideas that burst forth from faith and prosperity and a vision that sees the possibilities, not in full usually, but at least enough light cast on the path to take the next step and the next step, or the next flight and the next flight. So our prosperity has all kinds of possibility in it. What are you wishing for, desiring, wanting to co-create, committing to? Take a moment just to close your eyes. If you got something in meditation earlier, maybe just take a moment to connect with it again. And if you didn't, maybe see if there's something there for you. What covenant would you make with Spirit? And I invite you to say out loud or to yourself, enlarge my territory. It's already here and now. Jesus said, do you not say 4 more months till the harvest? He said, lift up your eyes. The fields are already ripe for harvest. It's now, eternally now, here, available. Not someday, not when, not if only. Now. And I heard you all just claim it. Enlarge my territory. I can't wait to see what happens in the next 5 weeks as we enlarge our territory together. Let's close out with this affirmation. My faith is strong and my vision clear. The world is infinitely good. And so it is.
Thank you very much, Kristen, for reminding us what Jesus said is that we are here to live life abundantly. And we are, right? Right. Excuse me while I don't drop this. Okay, so speaking of prayer, which I just did in the last 3 seconds, if you have something you want to pray for, whether it be a celebration or you have something on your heart you want to share, we have prayer chaplains will be available right after the service, and they will be glad. They will see it as an honor to pray with you, whatever you need prayer with. And prosperity celebration. Okay, I'm back. So prosperity, which Reverend Kristen just so beautifully talked about, is it's always with us, always within us. And so we have an opportunity here to celebrate that, to show that we know that there is no such thing as lack. Okay? And so we call that a prosperity celebration. And if you would like to take part in this prosperity celebration, there are many ways to do that. You may do that with a credit card. You can do that with PushPay on your smartphone, or you can do it with one of the cards that are in a pocket in the back of the seat in front of you. And also for those folks online, you can use the donate button on the Watch Live page, or you can also use PushPay if you wish. But all this is about celebrating the prosperity within us. And the plastic that we share today, or the cash that you give in the basket going around, is just a symbol of that prosperity. Yes? And we get to share that with each other. That's really cool. So I invite you to take your tithe in your hands and repeat the affirmation together. And it'll pop up on the screen in a second. And together, divine love, one with me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am joy-filled and grateful. And just soak that in and know it to be true.
So if anyone should feel the need to stand up and give me some rhythmic accompaniment, that would be greatly appreciated. Well, you might be saved, you might be reborn, you might own a car with a big loud horn. Maybe it's the news on your television, or it might be God trying to get your attention. Are you an engineer or working on the farm, or Casanova with a whole lot of charm? Might be a mouse living in your kitchen, or it might be God trying to get your attention. Well, it might sound good, might sound bad, might be made of steel, or it might be made of wood. Maybe it's the news on the television, but it might be God trying to get your attention. Well, it might be in the city, or it might be in the town. One way or another, gonna find the higher ground. Well, it might be in the churchyard, or it might be in the street. Sooner or later, gonna find the higher ground. Well, you might be good, it might sound bad, might be made of steel, or it might be made of wood. Maybe it's the news on the television, but it might be God trying to get your attention. Or you might be deaf, or you might be dumb. You'll get the answer when the answer comes. Might be the news on the television, or it might be God trying to get your attention. Well, you might be deaf, you might be blind. You'll get the answer when the answer comes. Might be the news on the television, or it might be God trying to get your attention. Or it might be God trying to get your attention. Or it might be God trying to get your attention.
In a celebration of the happy blues. Thank you all, that was fabulous. Let's bless our offering together with the affirmation on the screen. Together, we give thanks for the ever-increasing, unceasing flow of absolute good in our lives now. Thank you, God, that our territory is enlarged. Amen. Let's welcome our children in, marching in the light. In the light of God, we are marching in the light of God. 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 We are marching, marching, we are marching, marching, we are marching in the light of God. We are marching, marching, we are marching, marching, we are marching in the light of God. All right, let's bless our children and teachers. Youth and teachers, you are loved, special, and important. The light of God shines through you. A symbol of our prosperity. Let's join hands and say the prayer of protection together. Together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God ever present, family are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
The peace on earth right now. So let your light shine and have fun.